The 26th season of the MLS is finally upon us, which means there's a whole bunch of young talent coming up through the ranks that we all need to keep an eye on. In this episode of Kicking It with Drew's channel, we're going to talk about the top 10 USMNT players in MLS that you should be keeping an eye on. So without further ado, let's get to it. It was really hard to keep this list at a top 10. When I made the list, originally it was close to 20 players, but I couldn't make it that long because the video would be way too long, and also just top 10 seemed better for YouTube content anyway. So first, let's get on with some honorable mentions that I had to leave off this list. And even in this section, there are players I kind of left off because it would just be too long. So first up, let's start off obviously with Ayo Akinola. I didn't put him on the top 10 list, maybe because he's in between the Canada and USMNT national team, and I'm trying to keep this mostly as a primary USMNT prospect kind of top 10. So maybe that's why he's off there. Maybe I felt a little salty as well. I don't know. But from what I saw last season, he's definitely going to be hopefully growing on that momentum from last year onto this year for Toronto FC. Next up, another striker, we got Ricardo Pepi, product of that wonderful FC Dallas Youth Academy. I want to see more of this guy this year. This is a guy we should all be keeping an eye on this season. I think we saw him make a debut for himself a couple months ago for the senior USMNT. Didn't really see much of him at that time, but I expect a big season, or hopefully a breakout season for him for FC Dallas, and see if he can add his name to that ever overflowing striker position here at the USMNT. And next up, we got Abubakar Keita. Speaking of overflowing positions, we got another center back here that I see some good potential in from Columbus Crew, the MLS Cup champions currently. I want to see more of him. I would love to see him link up with Jonathan Mensah at the back line for Columbus Crew. It'd be a crazy power duo if Keita can really mold himself into a better defender this year. One to keep an eye on. And last but certainly not least is your boy Drew's boy, Paxton Aronson from my supported club, Philadelphia Union. This guy, word around the street is that he couldn't be better than his brother, Brendan Aronson, who now plays at RB Salzburg in Austria. We'll see. This year, this guy's going to have a lot of eyes on him because of his name, and also because of the talk that's going around him right now. Okay, so now let's jump into the top 10 USMNT players that we should all be keeping an eye on this season in MLS. Starting off at number 10, no really particular order here. Maybe towards the top there is, but at the bottom, no particular order, so don't get a titty attack about it. It's just my ranking. Top 10, bottom 10 right here is Frankie Amaya, 20-year-old from Cincinnati. Well, at the time of recording this video, he currently plays for Cincinnati. There is some talk that he could be on his way to New York Red Bulls, adding himself to that good team over there at New York Red Bulls. I expect him to finish higher, obviously, than Cincinnati this year. He's kind of a player that was mostly under the radar for most of last season compared to like other USMNT prospects we saw in the league breakout last year, which we'll all get to in a little bit. But I expect a good season from him. I feel like this should be his own a personal bigger breakout season this year, especially if he leaves Cincinnati. I feel like maybe he can develop better at New York Red Bulls. We'll just have to wait and see. Next up, we got fan favorite George Bello, the left back from Atlanta United. 19 years old. Last season, he had 1 goal, 1 assist in 16 games. I expect this guy to have a bigger breakout season this year. There's already a lot of hype and talk about him right now currently, but with all that hype going on around him right now, I feel like he really needs to solidify, have a good season, and solidify himself as the best USMNT left back in MLS. Sorry, Sam Vines, but it could be true. Let's go back to Philly for number 8, Anthony Fontana. This guy really didn't have many people talking about him until Philadelphia Union played against Saprissa in Philly recently in the CONCACAF Champions League when they knocked him out to get to the quarterfinals of this competition. He kind of had a little breakout there with some other people getting his name and recognizing who he is. But your boy Drew kind of knew he was an okay player. Last year, having 6 goals in 15 games, but this year, he needs to step up his game even more. Why? Well, because Brendan Aronson is gone, and he is basically the replacement for Brendan Aronson. He's going to have to fill that void that Aronson left in Philly. So we're going to see how we can do attacking wise. He has been playing more as like a center forward or like second striker attacking wise under Jim Curtin for the Union. This season, I expect him to score more goals and make some more assists. This guy is definitely under the radar, but you guys should all be keeping an eye on him as well. Coming in at number 7 is one of my favorite players on this list, and that is 17-year-old from San Jose, Cade Cowell, the center forward / attacking midfielder, who kind of broke on later onto the scene last year. He did have 1 goal, 1 assist in 16 games last season. I expect him to have a bigger goal tally and hopefully a bigger assist tally as well for San Jose. This could be Wondolowski's last year in MLS. It most likely will be, and I feel like he needs to make a name for himself to be the guy to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm young, up and coming. Let me see if I can fill that kind of void, at least provide some more goals for you guys in the absence of Wondolowski next season. But for this year, I do expect him to make a bigger name for himself, so we'll see if that happens. Coming in here at number 6 is the 19-year-old right back from LA Galaxy, Julian Araujo. You guys knew I had to put this dude on here. He is already dubbed as one of the most high prospect potential right back USMNT players in MLS, or just USMNT players in any position in MLS, because he's already been scouted by other teams across Europe. Is he going to stay at LA Galaxy? Is he going to go? That was the whole talk in the offseason. I think Juventus, Tottenham Hotspur were all linked with this guy, but he ended up staying at LA Galaxy. Last season, he did have 1 goal and 2 assists in 15 games, and he believe he is the starting right back for LA Galaxy. And this season, I expect him to solidify that even further and possibly not even make it a full year here in MLS. I feel like he will be picked off by a European team come the summer. Coming in at number 5, we've got 19-year-old Cole Bassett from Colorado Rapids. This guy broke onto the scene later on last year, and he really just blew up. He had 5 goals, 4 assists in 12 games for Colorado last year, and he really helped them get to that playoff position they were in last season. He is a center mid / attacking midfielder, but can also play on the wings if called upon. I expect him to have a really big season for Colorado and really help them push on to another playoff season. So we'll see if that happens. At number 4, I have here Tanner Tessman, 19-year-old center defensive midfielder from FC Dallas, another product of that terrific youth academy that Dallas has. Last year he had 1 assist in 19 games, but I think what really enticed a lot of people is that he had a good first senior debut for the national team against Trinidad and Tobago, and then also kind of semi-okay Olympic qualifier run with the youth national team. I think he was one of the better players on that roster. He was mostly benched, but when he came off the bench, he really did play well. He's very agile for a guy his size. I think that's why a lot of people caught on to him. He's like, you know what, this guy can dribble. He's not too shabby with the ball at his feet, and he's a freaking tank. Another guy to keep an eye on this season. Okay, so now we are in the top 3. Now this is where it really gets exciting. I feel like this whole list has been exciting, at least for me as a big MLS fan. But now these top 3 dudes, I expect they all need to have a big season this year. So let's start off with number 3 here. Paxton Pomykal, 21-year-old from FC Dallas, another product of that freaking youth academy. I feel like Dallas's academy is probably the best academy in MLS. Probably without a doubt. He only played 5 games in 2020 with only 1 goal because of a really bad injury. Cut them out of the spotlight for a long time. But now he's looking to be coming back fitter. He's looking to really come back into his normal self. I really hope he's fully recovered, because I expect and he needs to have a big season for FC Dallas. This guy in 2019 was a guy who really had a strong season, and he really made a name for himself in that year, in that 2019 season in MLS. He was being dubbed as the guy that should be the next one to move outside of MLS to a team in Europe. He was like the Brendan Aronson before Brendan Aronson was even around. I expect him to have a good season. I just want him to have a good season, because I do see still the potential I saw 2 years ago in this dude. So wish you all the best, Paxton Pomykal. You need a big season, and I believe in you. Coming in at number 2 is a guy that I thought has been around the league for years now, but he's only 18 years old. And that is Gianluca Buzio from Sporting Kansas City. This guy, like I said, I feel like he's been around a long time, the MLS, but whatever, man. This guy is a center midfielder who could also play attacking wise if he wanted to. Last year, he did have 2 goals and 4 assists in 24 games for Sporting Kansas City, helping get to the playoffs as well. But this guy is a guy that was also, just like Julian Araujo, was linked to moves outside of MLS. Will it happen? Will it not? I don't know. I feel like he needs to have a big season or make a really good name for himself again this year. And I feel like this guy, by the summer, could also be gone from MLS. Keep an eye on him. And last but certainly not least, the number 1 on this list is obviously Caden Clark from New York Red Bulls. He is a young 17-year-old attacking midfielder who has the ability to also play on both wings. That's always good to be versatile like that. Last year with New York Red Bulls number 2, their second team, he had 3 goals, 5 assists in 12 games. Awesome. This guy is already repping. Having that good track record right there for the New York Red Bulls second team promoted him to the senior team, where he helped them get 3 goals in 8 games and also helped them get in the playoffs, and he actually scored a goal in the playoffs as well. So Caden Clark is dubbed as the highest potential prospect, at least the most exciting prospect for the USMNT that we have right now in MLS. Am I wrong? I don't know. Name me another bigger player than Caden Clark right now this season. He's going to have the most eyes on him this year. I expect a big season for Caden Clark, and I hope he gets it. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys like my top 10 list. Is there any players that you think I kind of snubbed off this list? Make sure you guys let me know down below. And while you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already. And just to make sure you guys are really watching all the way to the end, what's your favorite animal? Mine's a lion or a bear. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.